It's a great pleasure to be speaking with two icons, Kenyan icons here. Carole Kariuki, CEO of KEPSA, Dr. Kituyi, Secretary General for the second mandate at UNCTAD. Tell us a little bit, guys, about what's happening tomorrow, about this visit to Jack Ma in Kenya that everyone's getting so excited about.
All right, thank you very much, Ali.
Pleasure.
First, when I asked Jack Ma to become a special envoy of UNCTAD, I told him one of the things I expected is that I would like him to inspire, particularly younger entrepreneurs in Africa, on the possibilities that exist to trade out of poverty. But that has to combine access to the right resources, the creation of an enabling environment, and market visibility. And from the experiences he has had with Alibaba, building from $60,000 to an enterprise now, $377 billion. I thought that he has a story to tell. And I wanted him to share it with a Kenyan audience, and then the next day I'm taking him to Kigali to meet with an audience from across Africa. But the most important thing for me was to bring him to this part of the world and say, the talent is there, the entrepreneurship is there, but they need encouragement, they need inspiration, and they need big players who can say, we will commit to help open doors for you. There are so many people who are thinking that this is about Chinese merchandise being dumped onto Africa. I don't want that. I don't want to create a market for Chinese merchandise. I want a leading thinker, inspirational leader, and philanthropist to help open markets for African produce by talking to African entrepreneurs on what possibilities there are.
Fantastic. Carole, what about you?
There's several things.
Yes.
I think for us, the most important thing and what's exciting for us, one, of course, it's election time. And this really, really gives a boost to business because we've been really telling them we need to separate the economy and politics. And so this is exciting to have the richest man in China come at this time. But secondly, we talk about opportunities. We keep saying Kenya has lots of opportunities, the land of opportunities, the land of innovation. But how are we turning that innovation to business? And as Dr. Kituyi is saying, it's turning them to real business, and I think this is, he's one of those people who can inspire a lot of the young people, but even all those big businesses that are in this country who have a lot of opportunities, but they've not seen how to turn some of those opportunities into real business, and so they're remaining as innovations or just opportunities. So that's the other thing. The third thing, I think what it also does, it's for Kenya, is to say this is really the place for investment. We've been telling everyone we meet, the investors out there, that if you're coming to Africa, you should think about Kenya. And so when they see such investors start looking at Kenya and coming into this country, I think it will encourage a lot of the big businesses to think about Kenya much more than they are doing right now.
When I was looking at Jack Ma's story, it was incredible. I mean, he failed to get into university 4 years running. He went to KFC, 24 people. He was the only one who wasn't turned down. What is in his DNA that you have seen that then went from that point to this point?
One, and this is what talks to our Nairobi audience, yes, that there is a high mortality in startups. You can be very daring, you mean well, you give it your best effort, and it collapses. And many people after 2-3 times think they are incapable. You need a person to tell you that falling is ordinary, standing up takes guts. And that the more you rise from the fall, the more you enhance your chances of making it. That encouragement, particularly for persons who have been making startups, small enterprises, and finding frustration with not succeeding, is a critically important message. And just the tenacity and self-trust that I will make it, that I will go through, and get up, think again, think of something new, is what is important here. But secondly, what's also important is that you want to know that out there are opportunities waiting. And I should not just define my thinking about the horizon of Nairobi. I should go beyond Kenya, and that we have to make sense in a large way. Bringing a person of Jack Ma's caliber helps to broaden the space in which you are operating. As just the first, I intend to bring quite a few other persons of similar ilk to help inspire and help open eyes to people who think that they believe and live in a territory called Jubilee or a territory called NASA, that there's something called the world.
You're a globalist, Secretary General. Carole, what inspires you about Jack's
I think
story?
what inspires me, there are three things. And when you talk to young people, they say, oh, I need to do my degree, need to do my master's, I'm not getting the opportunities. And I think for me, what it says that that's not it all. Yes, go for the education and all, but if something goes wrong, don't think your life is doomed.
No.
Just open your eyes. There could be a totally different opportunity that's waiting for you. Yes. And I think that's what Jack Ma's story is about, that when doors close, there are other doors and windows opening, but you can't sit back and say, nothing has happened to me since I didn't get to do this degree, then my life is all over. Then secondly, that the market, the business has changed. When you think about him being turned away from KFC is your traditional business, but he comes and creates a totally different kind of a business. And that's what we're telling the young people. If you're looking into going into only Safaricom or going into Bidcore, those businesses are there, they're running, but they're the old business. Can you think of creating a new model of business? Because we are living in a different industrial revolution. This is the fourth industrial revolution. It's technology and just the intellectual, a different time. So can you open your mind and say, I belong into this generation that's living in a different industrial revolution. And so use that and look at the opportunities that are available. And that's what I see of Jack Ma's story, especially to the young people.
Secretary General, if you look at Africa, one of the biggest challenges is in our exports. We are exporting oil, we're exporting unfinished commodities. Does Ma represent an opportunity to upscale and look at it differently?
Ma represents an opportunity to think innovatively.
Yeah.
But, Alibaba is a trading company.
Yes.
It doesn't own a single warehouse.
No.
And doesn't own any of the products it trades. It creates the soft infrastructure for commerce.
Yes.
And what it should inspire us is that you can add value to enhance and diversify your market destinations. To me, this is a message. But nobody can bring all the right messages. But there's a package of messages that we need. And you've heard me on this before. We were not sentenced to the same things, the same knowledge that our ancestors had 100 years ago. No. We must start living in the 21st century. And that innovation, that guts, that connection, and that creation of an enabling environment, regulatory and otherwise, is a critical national responsibility and challenge.
Does Kenya have the ingredients to do what the Secretary General's describing? Do we have the human capital? Do we have is it a question of finding the right chef to bake the cake, or what do you think, Carole?
We do have the ingredients.
Yeah.
It's putting them together.
Yes.
To bake the cake. Because you have these young people who are so innovative. We have the fastest internet speeds in Africa, so you can't even say that you can't access Wi-Fi and all that. I mean, there's all these constructions of Wi-Fi even at constituency level that's starting to take place, so young people can really, really access that. Thirdly, education. When you talk to a lot of multinationals that base their offices in Nairobi, when they're looking at Africa, they say it's because of your human resource. So we do have the human resource in terms of our education and all that. So it's just bringing all those together and then saying, what are we going to do with it? And I think that's a challenge that we want the Kenyans tomorrow who will be in that room to live with and say, okay, all these ingredients are all over. So I just need to get them together, put together and bake the cake. And who is that who is baking the cake? Who is the young person, or who is this entrepreneur who's been trying to do startups and just not putting all the ingredients together, maybe missing one or two and just putting together because they're there. And so what also Jack Ma represents is that you can now access a lot of things, goods that you couldn't access before, and you had to travel to different countries. And we're telling Kenyans you don't have to. We keep talking about transport costs are high and all that. So even as we work on our logistics, the biggest thing now is to say you can access all those products that you need to be able to do your business here or to be able to use as a consumer. And I think that's the mindset that we want Kenyans to have. But also for our government side to say, when we're talking about policies, with the new model of business, where should we focus? So, logistics will be very, very key, because you want these businesses, a lot of them just depend on logistics. Once the logistics are in place, a lot of these businesses will come up and thrive.
Last question. Do we want Alibaba to come Alibaba in Africa, or do we want to create our own Alibaba Secretary General?
We absolutely.
What do you want? Your ideal outcome, is it that we have a platform Africa-wide that's,
Yes.
I don't know, open sesame?
Yes, I've already started contacts with different people to
Yes.
try to help establish an African electronic trading platform.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't want Alibaba to come to Africa. We want Alibaba to be partners, particularly on deliveries of African produce in China.
Carole, last thoughts?
Exactly the same.
Yes.
I think we can create our own Alibaba.
Yes.
And right here,
Yes.
the home of M-Pesa, why not here? That's a question we should be saying. If we can do some of those things that have not been done in other parts of the world, we can do exactly that. We've been talking about Konza City. It's supposed to be offering that place where these ideas can grow into real businesses, and that's what we want that to happen. And that's what we'll be doing, and I really, really appreciate the partnership UNCTAD and KEPSA has.
Congratulations on that.
That we've had for a long time,
Yes.
and some of these things we'll be working on. He comes, he throws in the ideas, I have to pick them
He's
up.
an ideas man.
He's an ideas man.
Keeping up with his ideas
yeah,
is
he
tough.
gets the networks, and I need to run with them and
Yes.
make sure that they grow. And in a few years, we really want to look back and say this was not a wasted trip.
We really look forward to tomorrow's events and the following day, and congratulations to both of you for pulling this coup off, and really excited by it. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carole.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you, Secretary General.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.